We got cables everywhere. Cables on the desk, on the wall, on the floor. Like, what is even this behind the PC? This is what my pubes look like after 10 months in quarantine. What's up, you guys? I'm TechSource, and it's that time again. It is time to look at some more potato setups. We do this every 10 episodes on Setup Wars, where we take a look at some of the worst setups that get submitted and give the person with the worst setup $100 in cash. Again, guys, I cannot stress this enough, but this is done for entertainment only. Do not take anything I say in this video seriously. For the love of God. For the love of God, don't take me seriously, okay? I don't know how many times I have to keep saying that because there are still people upset every single time I do one of these. And it's not even their setup that's getting roasted. That's the funny part. I feel like people just skip the intro, so they don't even know what's going on. These people submit their worst setups on their show on purpose, you guys. They do it because they like getting their setups roasted on the channel for fun by me. And number two, they get a chance to win $100. So to them, it's all for fun. So with that said, if you guys have a potato setup and you want to be part of the show and get your self-esteem lowered, then consider participating. I'll drop a link to the video down below, so check that out. But with that said, sit back and relax because it's time for Setup Wars. Before we begin the video, I have an awesome giveaway to share with you guys. Omen sponsored this video and sent over their new gaming gear for me to check out and also to give them away. Starting off with their new Vector wireless mouse, which they claim is the world's fastest USB-C charging gaming mouse with up to 180 hours of battery life. Also, charging it for just 30 seconds will get you an hour of battery life. It features 6 programmable buttons, up to 16,000 DPI, and an esports grade TechSource wireless sensor, all packed inside this ergonomically designed light gaming mouse. The Omen Spacer TKL keyboard is also wireless and pairs really well with the Vector mouse. You get a 2.4 GHz connection with 0 lag. However, the option to play wired is still there with the included USB-C cable. The Space TKL also comes with Cherry MX Brown switches, a detachable magnetic palm rest, and up to 75 hours of battery life with 6 hours of playtime after only 5 minutes of charging via the USB-C cable. Since both keyboard and mouse are by Omen, you can customize macros, lighting, and more, all from the Omen Command Center. If you guys want to check these out, I'll drop a link to it down below, and if you want to enter for the giveaway, make sure to join our Discord server. All right, kicking off the episode is Jonathan and his toaster setup. This is literally a toaster setup. There is a PC inside the toaster. This explains the toaster quality pictures as well. Honestly, this is a pretty sweet setup. It's impressive that you can build a PC in such a tiny chassis, and extra points for sticking with the theme of the setup by building your setup in the kitchen. So nicely done. All right, up next is Carl from the Philippines and his very creative setup. It looks like he installed a wall shelf in the corner of his room to hold up his laptop setup. I do have to start off and just give props to Carl for using a matching chair to complement the riser or whatever that is on the top shelf. It kind of looks like my elementary school's lunch tray, actually. So the setup is powered by a laptop that's been gutted into 2 separate parts. We got the monitor portion on the bottom and the other half face down on the top, which explains why he's using a keyboard and mouse to be able to use it. I'm just surprised the thing is still alive. I do have to give Carl some more points on the cable management. Look at that beautiful cable work from the laptop to the wall outlet. This beautiful man used clear tape to keep the cables from hanging down, and we even have a few plants up top for a bit of decoration. Truly a work of art if I've ever seen one. Thank you, Carl, for entering, and good luck. Iman is up next from Napier in New Zealand. I love that this isn't even a subscriber setup. The notes say that this is Iman's friend Hollis that took the pics and sent it over. If you made it into the video, I'm sorry, but people had to see how bad it is. Dude, your friend just literally threw you under the bus. I think it's time for new friends. So it looks like we have some type of couch gaming setup or bed gaming setup in that case. I don't know what the deal is with the curtain in the background with the pink hearts. I don't even know what's going on here, to be honest. We have an ancient fossilized keyboard and a mouse plugged into what appears to be a pre-built PC without a side panel, and is being used as a monitor riser for the 22-inch Lenovo display up top. This poor PC doesn't even have an exhaust fan, and with the side panel off, it's going to collect so much dust, which means it won't last long. Oh, there's another display next to that, but it doesn't look like it's plugged into the PC. So maybe this is a console setup. Does anyone recognize what game that is and possibly what console he's playing on? Because I'm really curious. The setup itself actually doesn't bother me as much as the curtains do. They're using two different curtains that don't even match, nor do they look good. Someone's fashion sense must be as good as their hygiene. Thank you, Hollis, for throwing your friend under the bus, which can potentially be a good thing. If he does end up winning, he can take home $100. So this next setup is quite interesting, actually. There's a lot to take in here. So Jerry is a factory worker from Taiwan that built his setup inside his bunk bed. This is actually pretty genius, if you ask me. This is apparently inside his dorm room next to the working site. So the room itself doesn't have a ton of space. So that's why he decided to use the space in his bed to build a setup. Talk about pure determination, damn. This brings a new meaning to rolling out of bed. He can quite literally roll out of bed and start gaming immediately. Looks like he built a setup on a custom desk which goes over his bed, and he managed to fit a 32-inch 144Hz monitor, his keyboard and mouse, and even a set of speakers with a subwoofer mounted right on there. Well done. Of course, with this limited amount of space, he was forced to be creative when it came to mounting his PC, and creative he was. He installed a wall shelf against two very thin pieces of wood that is holding up his massive custom rig. We got the i5-8400 in here and the ROG Strix GTX 1060. Am I the only one getting anxiety from the location of the PC? What if there's like an earthquake in the middle of the night? There is nothing stopping your PC from falling down and rearranging your face, my dude. He even installed an entire shelf unit right above where his pillow is. Maybe I'm just being super sensitive and paranoid, but shouldn't you at least add some doors or something to close off the open space? The creativity and engineering that went into this setup is awesome. I'm actually really impressed with the overall setup and how you're able to make everything work given the space limitations. I'm just worried about you. Thank you, Jerry, for sharing this awesome setup with us, and good luck. Now here's a setup that has you asking, why though? Why is there a giant humidifier or AC unit on the top desk? What possible excuse is there to have that on the desk? I'm actually at a loss for words. Maybe he put that up there to keep his face cool while gaming. I'm not really sure. But apparently this is Luca's gaming setup. But honestly, there's nothing gaming about it. The more I look at this picture, the more I become a virgin. I don't even know how that's possible. We got cables everywhere. Cables on the desk, on the wall, on the floor. Like, what is even this behind the PC? This is what my pubes look like after 10 months in quarantine. I can try my very hardest to make my cables look like this, and I won't even come close to Lucas. This has to be a skill. I'm not even kidding. You have to be very gifted to accomplish this. Like, why do you have your webcam cable hanging down from the front of your monitor when you can easily route it behind? Something smells fishy here, and it's definitely not the stench of the setup. I think this setup was rigged to look like this, but that's just my opinion. I love how the Xbox Kinect is on the bottom of the setup. Isn't that meant to capture movement? What type of movement is it supposed to capture under the desk? Actually, don't answer that. Lucas, the only recommendation I can give you on the setup is to see a professional therapist because there is something seriously going on here. Thank you for entering though. Okay, see, this is a cleaner setup. I can dig this. We have Nick Hill from India and his laptop powered setup. Looks like we have two plastic side tables. One is holding up his MacBook Pro and the other holds up his power strip and a very dusty PS4 and a router. When is the last time you even touched that PS4, my guy? Or any part of your setup for that matter. This does not look healthy at all. Look at all the dust and dirt build up behind your TV. It says you're a musician and the setup's purpose is teaching music. Really? Judging by your setup, it doesn't seem like you should be teaching anything, to be honest. Maybe your inspiration for being a musician comes from Picotoro since you have him as your wallpaper. If that's the case, then all of this makes sense. Honestly, your dog has the right idea. Hiding under the couch is probably the best move. This next setup is the perfect example of what not to do, ladies and gentlemen, if you have RGB strips. Like, why would you put them on your monitor like that? At some point, you have to realize that mistakes were made. How can that not be annoying after an hour of gaming? You know, you could have at least put them on the edge, like on the top edge of your monitor instead of the bezel. Also, if you're gonna leave the side panel of your PC open like that, it's better to just get rid of it altogether. That's like spraying Febreze around a dumpster. It's not gonna make a huge difference. You didn't include any pictures of your cable management, but you forgot that I can see the bottom of your setup in this picture. It's definitely not the worst setup I've seen, but still potato enough to be in this episode. Thank you, Aiden, for entering, and good luck. This next setup makes CJ look like an underpaid receptionist at a paper company. He wrote that he stole his mom's desk from her ho-ho. What does that mean? And should I be concerned? Could it be your stepmom we're talking about here, possibly? The setup is even facing the beds. I'm not really sure what type of setup this really is, but it's giving me really creepy vibes. I feel like it would have made more sense putting this against the wall behind you, but it's nice to see that you put an effort in cable management at least. So CJ is an engineering student that does some freelance graphic design at night, and this is the setup he uses for work and playing Dota 2 as well. He's rocking a sick pre-built PC with a Pentium G4400. We got 2 cores and 2 threads up in this beast with, there's actually no GPU. It's integrated, but still a beast PC for Dota 2 and calculator. The setup definitely has some questionable choices, but it's potato enough to be on this episode. Thank you, CJ, for entering, and good luck. This next setup from Daniel is quite possibly the ultimate travel setup. Ladies and gentlemen, check this out. Are you always on the move, but you don't have the space for a setup? Well, look no more. Introducing the luggage setup. Not only do you have 2 extra luggage to store your belongings, but you can also store that table that holds up your setup. It is truly the all-in-one solution for your traveling needs. The luggage might need a bit of deep cleaning, but overall, I love the concept. It doesn't take much space, it's got built-in storage, but more importantly, it's very versatile and can adapt to every situation. I'm impressed, Daniel. Good work, and thank you for sharing this brilliant idea with us. And that wraps up the worst setup edition for today. As always, make sure you guys click on the straw poll link down below and cast your vote on the worst setup, because that person will take home $100 in cash. If you guys enjoy the worst setup edition, consider dropping a like before you head out, and consider subscribing because I do host setup wars every single Monday and the worst setup edition every 10 episodes. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you very soon in the next one.